Do you feel hopeful for the future of marriage in America?
That's a great question. I don't necessarily feel hopeful for marriage as a kind of an institution for everybody. We have seen, as I mentioned before, a pretty marked decline in marriage since 1970. And so we have about half of Americans who are married currently, and the marriage rate again is coming down. But what I think does give me hope is two things. One is the research continues to be very strong about kind of the benefits of marriage for men, women, children, and communities. So I think for those with eyes to sort of see that research and to kind of internalize that research, that kind of gives them, I think, some hope and inspiration. And the second thing that's kind of a paradox, I would say, is that even as sort of marriage declines and community life often declines, sort of I think the relative value of marriage for both adults and kids seems to be increasing. So what I mean concretely, for instance, is kind of like there is new research from the St. Louis Fed, for instance, showing that financially, the premium associated with being stably married has increased for adults in America. They're enjoying relatively more wealth than they did, compared to their single peers in the 70s, for instance. We're seeing also that kids who are being raised by stably married parents have an extra educational advantage today compared to, say, 25 years ago on topics ranging or outcomes ranging from being suspended in school to graduating from college. So again, I think for people who are kind of smart enough or otherwise inclined to kind of sort of pay attention to this data and this research, they can see that marriage is this core institution, and that this institution may be even more consequential in a world that's more atomized, more economically unequal, and where more and more people are feeling kind of lonely and are spending too much time on their devices. So having kind of a spouse, having kids, I think gives you kind of an in-person community that is, and a financial sort of stability that's probably even more valuable today than it was 30 or 40 years ago.